I grimace. This is part 2 of chapter 3. I guess he sees as Jesus in the analogy. I suppose so. My God, the ego. He's giving you 3 chances to come over to the good side, or what he believes to be the good side. And then what? Eternal damnation? She frowns, looks worried. It's probably something a bit more literal than that. Nuala is the only adult in my life I can talk to about magic. It's funny how our relationship instantly changed after the ritual. She went from being ominous stranger to a mentor, almost a friend. She's the one who told me what a sensitive was. Now she's trying to teach me the basics of shop magics. She's trying to teach me the basic of shop magics, Wicca, herbs, crystals, all the rest. She's saying that having supernatural power isn't enough, that I need to study too. I'm not trying to scare anybody. This is just a book and it's just a story. And it's really fantastic. If you read the first book, you want to read the second book. Okay. I stand up, stretch my bones. What are the children up to though? Why are they back in Kilbeg? And why do they want me? Nuala's face goes vacant for a minute, which I know to be a sign that she's thinking something she's not ready to share. I wonder for a second whether I should try looking into her mind and then remember the pact we made. Only at the tennis courts, only when we are alone, only the train. Have you ever thought about, she says at last, how you work in all of this? Nuala can be odd at sometimes that I don't know if she means this as in magic or this as in the shop and capitalism in general. Sensitivity, I mean. I shrugged. Nuala had explained it to me before in her typically vague way about how being sensitive means I have a special connection to the magic and the earth. You said not all sensitives are witches, but all great witches are sensitives. Yes, but, she pauses, pressed the button on the till. So the new recipe paperback comes out of it and grabs a pen. And she starts drawing a doll. This is you and this is Kilbeg. That's me, is it? I say, trying not to take the piss out of her. Me and the triangle dress I always wear. Shh! Siyunas, she replies irritably. She continues to draw. She makes another drawing, the magic with the arrow upwards and you and Kilbeg down. Right, she says. So let's say there is a certain amount of magic that lives in Kilbeg, like a fossil fuel. It's there. It's under the earth. It's being used by everyone all the time. Everyone is using magic all the time. If we think of magic as being, free will, belief, choice, the inclination to draw a nice picture, all that is magic. Get it? Wow. Okay, I say uneasily, not quite getting it, and neither am I. Not quite believing it. I start to take the P again, which is how I usually process new information. So when I choose to watch Friends reruns instead of actually watching something new, that is an act of profound magic. It's also an act of intellectual laziness, Nuala huffs. But it also comes from the same place. It's all about will, being the mistress of yourself. I can tell she's getting lost in the weeds here because she goes back to the drawing board. All those little dots are all the people using magic all the time without realizing. Every time they decide that they want to wear red today because it makes them feel powerful. That's a tiny bit of magic. Now you, Maeve, she taps her pen on the triangle girl. You, as a sensitive, have greater access to that magic. It has chosen you as a representative. Cool, says May. So magic goes up through the earth into you and to smaller degrees into everyone else. Then it goes back into the earth. You do the spell, it goes out into the air, into the trees, into the soil, back to the earth. She taps on the arrow very determinedly. Okay, fine. She draws 3 more figures wearing triangles, and there's Lily, Rue, Fiona. For whatever reason, when they went through that business with the housekeeper, they all got dragged into the magic supply chain. That's been my theory anyway. I tried to think about this carefully, examining the crap diagram. I suppose that makes sense, but what does it have to do with the children? I don't know exactly, she says uncertainly. Just that 2 sensitives, it can't be an accident. They must want sensitives. But why? I don't exactly know. But I know someone who does. Who? She taps her Sharpie to her nose. I think that's her finger, pointing finger. Her way of saying end of discussion. Nuala is oddly silent for the rest of the morning. At about 1, she disappears to the room behind the shop for a little while, and when she emerges, she's sealing an envelope. I'm going to the post office, she says. Can you manage for half an hour? Sure, I say, trying to sneak a look at the address on the letter. I have no doubt that it has something to do with magical supply chains and the person who knows all about them. Her thumb is covering the name. All I can see is 454 Rue Alexandre Parodi, Paris, France. Nosy, Nuala says, annoyed. Sorry, I replied bashfully. I wish someone would write me a letter. I haven't had an interesting post in years. Well, Nuala says, you sent a letter when you are not sure if someone will take your call. Wow, this is getting exciting again. She leaves and I reassume my work, discounting the numerology books. It's funny, plenty of people love astrology and tarot, but no one seems to care much about numerology. Maybe it reminds them too much of school, all that adding up. Excuse me, a soft voice comes from behind me. Do you work here? Sorry, I say, jumping to my feet. Yes, I work here. Can I help you? Customers aren't exactly my strong suit. The minute I think I'm on the verge of becoming a great witch, someone comes in asking about past lives, Reiki, and I feel like I'm a novice all over again. I'm going for incense, the customer says, something to keep away the mosquitoes. This, thankfully, is simple. Citronella sticks are what you need, I say, leading her over to the shelf filled with long rectangular packets. They look like boxes for a wand. I give her one, and her fingers brush my knuckles briefly, her hand strangely warm. It's such a surprise that I fumble a bit and look at her properly for the first time. She's a bit older than Joe, 26 maybe. She's the kind of woman who dresses like I always think I would dress if I had money and knew how to put clothes together. She's wearing a combat boots and a long wrap-around skirt made of shining Indian type material which heavily silver rings with heavy silver rings on her fingers. Her hair is a kind of dark gold, curly and loosely tied with a scarf. I'll take 2 boxes, she says, already wandering over to the tarot. She picks up a sample deck and we leave out for people to see, to flick through. Gosh, aren't these beautiful? We have a really good selection, I replied proudly. I help pick them. Can you read them? Yep, I replied again properly, a little too proudly. It is very hard. She's gazing at the wands, ace of wands. Not really. They have a kind of formula to them. The major arcana is easy to learn. They are all quite self-explanatory. And then the suits have short or a sort of numerical order. You really know a lot, she replied. Does your mother own a shop? Nuala, no. Please, I laughed, trying to imagine Nuala with kids. I just work here. I take her citronella sticks over to the till and start ringing them up. It's good to know there's a shop like this, she says, nodding and looking around as if genuinely interested. I wasn't sure what to expect. I've only lived here a week. I don't even know Kilbeg very well. I barely have friends in Ireland. I barely have friends in Ireland. Even I've been abroad for ages. Then I remember something that might shore up position as girlfriend of the year. If you don't know Kilbeg very well, I stumble a bit, feeling awkward. She looks at me, bright eyes, curious. There's a gig tonight at the old coal market. She cocks her head. It's a venue, I clarify. It's not actually a coal market. I mean, not anymore. Who's playing? A local band. Small private ceremony. I reply. That old glimmer of pride back again. But at the headliner is a big deal. Her name is on her own. She was on the cover of Hot Press last month. That sounds great. What time? Doors are at 8, she says. She'll be there. And I instantly feel weird about inviting a stranger to hang out with me, but she's already taking her phone out, searching the location. There, she says, pressing her thumb down to confirm a purchase. Just bought my ticket. Rue will be thrilled. I say, he will be. Are you together? I nod. He's the singer. You have a great social life, she says admiringly. I wish I had at your age. I smile, feeling genuinely a bit fluttered, because I do have a great social life now. After all, sometimes when we are all at the gig together, I feel such a surge of luck and joy. I remember what loneliness feels like, and it's such a shock to not to feel it anymore. Well, in the summer I do, I reply modestly, but I'm starting my leaving certificate this year, so that's about to change. my parents aren't going to be cracking down majorly, I start begging her items. I start bagging her items. Consciously, I have kept her talking too long. My school is only like 5 minutes from here, so I hope I'll still be able to pop up in and do I hope I'm still be able to pop in and do evening shifts. She looks at me astounded. St. Bernadette's? Yes, but I'm in St. Bernadette's. What? I replied, confused. Sorry, you look too, I almost said old and hold my tongue. She gives me a sly look and we both start laughing at the faux pas I almost made. So that's French. No, the mistake. I think faux pas might be a mistake. No, I'm working there. Oh, I feel a bit awkward now. A minute ago she was just a cool woman asking about tarot. Now she's a teacher I've just invited to a gig. She seems to understand my sudden apprehension. Don't worry, she says, I'm not a real teacher, just a counsellor. You've picked a good year, I say, nervous and jabbering. They are doing the whole place up. We have a tennis court and everything now. Oh yes, she says, laughing a bit. I have heard all about the tennis court. They are very proud of it. Yeah, well, that would be. It was all bins back there before. She pays for her incense. I'm Heather, she says, or I don't know. You'll probably have to call me Miss Banbury at school, but it's Heather. Hi Heather, I'm Maeve. She grins. Good to have a friendly face on the first day. Between me and you, I'm pissing myself with nerves. I'll see you at the gig. I laugh, thinking that maybe school won't be so grim after all, that we have at least one fun teacher. Wow. Well, I've got a feeling she might be part of the gang. I don't know. I know as much as you do because I didn't start reading this book, but I've been saving it for you. And like I promised, I'm doing the series. So I hope you've enjoyed chapter 3. It's getting airy. So take care, enjoy, bye-bye.